Most people believe they are stuck because they are lazy. They say it quietly to themselves. I just don't have discipline. I'm not consistent. I'm not driven like successful people. And they carry that belief like a verdict. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Billionaires are not super-motivated machines. They are not endlessly disciplined warriors. Many of them are naturally lazy. They simply built habits that work even when discipline dies. You are not losing because you lack willpower. You are losing because you were never taught how to design habits that carry you when willpower disappears. Leave now and you'll return to blaming yourself. Stay and you'll see how wealth is built by people who refuse to rely on self-control. Sit with me. No hype, no pretending. Just honesty. You've tried to push yourself. You've made promises. You've started routines. And eventually, you've fallen back. Not because you're broken, but because forcing discipline is like rowing upstream forever. Billionaires do something different. They build downstream habits. Behaviors that feel almost too easy. Behaviors that continue even on tired days. Behaviors that quietly accumulate into wealth. This video is not about working harder. It's about designing laziness to your advantage. The first habit is automation. Ordinary people rely on memory and effort. Billionaires automate. Automatic transfers. Automatic investments. Automatic savings. Automatic business processes. When action becomes automatic, laziness stops being an obstacle. The system moves money before emotion interferes. Wealth grows while the mind rests. But this is where most people unknowingly sabotage themselves. They wait until they feel ready to start. Billionaires start messy and automate later. They understand that imperfect systems beat perfect intentions. A weak system running beats a strong plan waiting. Let that settle. The second habit is environment design. Ordinary people fight temptation. Billionaires remove temptation. They don't keep distractions in reach and then demand discipline. They redesign surroundings so the right action is the easiest action. When the environment is shaped correctly, laziness naturally flows toward progress. Sit with that for a moment. The third habit is minimum action. Ordinary people set heavy routines they cannot sustain. Billionaires set actions so small they feel ridiculous. Read one page. Invest a tiny amount. Build one contact. Small enough to do, even on bad days. Small enough to never quit. Compounding loves small consistency. But there's one mistake almost everyone makes here. They underestimate tiny actions because they don't feel productive. Billionaires understand identity changes through repetition, not intensity. Stay with me. This is the quiet turning point. The fourth habit is default scheduling. Ordinary people wait to find time. Billionaires lock time in calendars before life fills it. Learning time, thinking time, strategy time. Once scheduled, it happens even when energy is low. The fifth habit is decision simplification. Ordinary people exhaust themselves with choices. Billionaires remove decisions. Same morning routine, same meal patterns. Same execution rhythms. Fewer decisions mean less discipline required, less mental fatigue, more consistency. If you've ever felt tired of trying, this is why. The sixth habit is delayed comfort. Ordinary people reward themselves first. Billionaires reward themselves last. Not with punishment, but with sequencing. They place pleasure after progress. Over time, the brain learns to associate action with reward automatically. Let that sink in. The seventh habit is accountability through structure. Ordinary people rely on self-promises. Billionaires build external accountability. Business partners, financial commitments, public schedules, systems that make quitting inconvenient. Laziness works for them, not against them. The eighth habit is asset-first behavior. Ordinary people spend, then see what's left. Billionaires allocate to assets first. What remains becomes lifestyle. This single habit builds wealth quietly, even if the person is naturally relaxed and unambitious. But most never adopt it. Because the ninth habit requires identity acceptance. Billionaires do not try to become disciplined heroes. They accept their nature and design around it. They don't fight laziness. They redirect it. They build systems that allow comfort while producing value. We're not done yet. Because habits alone are not the full story. The real shift comes when you realize you were never broken. You were simply using raw willpower instead of intelligent structure. And that's where part 2 takes you. You've just heard 9 habits that work even when discipline fades. But the real revelation is not the habits themselves. It's what they prove about you. You were never weak. You were never lazy. You were simply trying to win a structural game with emotional tools. Willpower is fragile. Discipline is exhausting. Emotion is unstable. Systems are permanent. Billionaires understand this. That's why they don't try to become stronger humans. They become smarter architects of their own behavior. Most people live their lives fighting themselves. They wake up negotiating with their own mind. Should I work today? Should I save money? Should I learn something new? Every day becomes a battle, and eventually they lose. Not because they lack potential, but because no one can fight themselves forever. Billionaires remove the battle entirely. They make progress automatic. They design life so success happens by default. This is where hopelessness quietly disappears. Because once you see that wealth is not built by heroic effort, but by intelligent design, the weight lifts. You no longer have to become someone else. You simply redesign your environment, your systems, your defaults. You become wealthy not by force, but by flow. Let's return to something important. Many people think wealthy individuals are obsessed with money. In reality, the wealthy are obsessed with removing friction. Every habit you heard today does one thing: reduce friction between intention and action. Less resistance, less internal conflict, less decision fatigue, more automatic execution. Over years, frictionless action becomes financial gravity. This is why copying surface behaviors never works. You can imitate a billionaire's morning routine and still stay broke. But when you adopt the habit of environment design, you naturally create your own routines that fit you. You don't copy, you architect. Most people consume content looking for motivation. They feel energized. Then the feeling fades. Nothing changes. Builders consume content looking for systems. They feel calm. Then they build. Everything changes. Let that settle. You might feel a strange mix of relief and responsibility right now. Relief because you realize you were never fundamentally flawed. Responsibility because now you know change is possible. And once you know, you cannot unknow. The old excuse of "I'm just lazy" disappears. In its place is a new question. What system will I build first? Not 10 systems. One automated transfer. One protected hour. One distraction removed. One tiny habit installed. One environment shift, small enough to start today, strong enough to compound for years. This is where confusion becomes direction. The difference between ordinary people and wealth builders is not intelligence, not background, not luck. It is the willingness to design life instead of drifting through it. Most drift. A few design. Designers always win in the long run. And now we return to the opening truth. You don't need more discipline. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to become someone else. You need a rulebook. One that respects your human nature instead of fighting it. One that works even when you feel tired. One that builds wealth quietly, patiently, inevitably. This channel exists to give you that rulebook. One habit, one system, one principle at a time, without hype, without pressure, without false promises. Just intelligent design. .com execution. Long horizons. Welcome to the new way forward. Billionaire Rulebook, rules that make wealth inevitable.